Hey, Coach, in as much as you can, and I know it's only been a few hours, but how did you come out of that game? A lot of guys went off the field. Some of them came back. You have 10 days, but are you expecting anybody to have a significant injury from that game?
Not sure yet. They haven't come in. All the reports hadn't come in. We had a lot of people sore from this game and a lot of people nicked up. I'm waiting to see them come in and get the final injury report before I say anything.
Got it. And I just wanted to ask you, look, you've had a couple games now where the defense has been on the field for over 80 plays. And when you have that 30 play deficit, I mean, that's tough to overcome. And they seem to be attacking a little bit over the middle. So why do you think you're not being able to get off the field? And in particular, are the injuries just piling up at the safety position, linebacker? Like what? Why do you think you're giving up some yards over the middle?
Yesterday, just looking at it, our eyes were roaming in different places. We got to have more discipline in our zone drops, especially in the middle of the field. And that's kind of where we got lost at a few times with our eyes.
Gotcha. Thanks.
We'll go to Greg Allman.
Hey, Todd, obviously losing Servasia Dennis was a significant injury. And I'm sure the short week made it harder to come up with any kind of complex solution for that. How tough was that last night? And how much can you guys continue with Britt as an every down linebacker?
It wasn't tough because it was our normal stuff that we normally run, but at the same time, we want to have more speed on the field at certain times. KJ is a very good zone player, but at times we want to have some speed guys on the field, and the communication's got to be better, especially with the safeties. When we lost Jordan, we lost some of the communication aspect of it, and then we just missed some drops and missed some tackles.
Todd, we know Dennis is on IR, so we know it's at least 4 games. Can you get a better sense in terms of what the timetable is for or when or if he could come back this season?
We're not counting on him anytime soon. We're not counting on him anytime soon. His shoulder was kind of messed up this summer. We kind of knew it was a touch and go thing type there. So we'll see how he comes around, and we'll play it week by week.
Thank you.
Scott Reynolds.
Coach, to follow up on Greg's point, and it wasn't just KJ Britt, right? That had some faults in coverage last night, but you platoon him for a reason. You did that with Servassier Dennis. You did it with Devin White at the end of last year. Are you open? Do you have the confidence in someone like JJ Russell to look into a platoon type situation with KJ Britt to get some more speed on the field?
Well, we'll see. I mean, we're confident in KJ, but at the same time, we need to make more tackles. I thought our zone drops and our tackling weren't very good, and that's where we kind of got behind the eight ball.
I know that traditionally you are a two linebacker, a nickel type of coach in terms of your defensive play calls, but in order to get more speed in the field, are you open to deploying some dime looks with an extra safety, especially when Winfield comes back?
When he comes back, we have those type of packages in, but with the injuries, we can't afford to use those right now.
Understood. Thanks, Coach.
JC Allen.
Coach, it seems for the first couple of weeks you guys have struggled to get pressure early. Obviously, the sacks kind of added up later in the game, but what are teams doing that every team in this league is getting the ball out quick. So what's something that you guys need to do to get those sacks going earlier and get that pressure finishing earlier?
We got pressures up front. First of all, they go hand in hand with coverage. Sometimes we got to cover better and we getting back there, and sometimes we got to get back there and we're covering better. It goes hand in hand, but we made some progress last night as well. We should have had a couple more, but the ball was coming out. Like there were missed opportunities all over the field.
And as far as the cornerback play, Jamel and Zion for the most part held on. But what did you see from that last play? Rewatching it back, where Zion trying to make a play for the ball. Should he have tried to go for the tackle there? Did you like the aggressiveness?
Well, the aggressiveness was fine. He actually tipped the ball, but he went with his left hand. He could have made the tackle with his right hand. We don't have a problem with his aggressiveness. He was trying to make a play. He was in position to make a play, and it just went through his hand.
And as far as like situational awareness, that last tackle to set them up for that field goal, is that something that kind of Dean made the tackle? I think Vontae was right there as well, and they kind of just got up. Is that something where maybe if that's the situation that happens next time, kind of just pile on him and let the clock run. Don't let those seconds tick off.
We should have laid on them more. We kind of got up and let that second tick off, and we should have laid on them.
Evan Winter.
Morning, Coach. Just going back to the fourth and fourth play at the top of the fourth quarter, defense gets a big stop on that 3rd and 2, but it just lost Jordan Whitehead. And again, going back to the injuries and the communication with him, defense have been struggling for most of the night, and it really seems like the Falcons had a plan to go for it on that 4th down, unless some kind of disaster happened, just based off of how quickly they went into up tempo, all that. So knowing all that, up 7, and considering the Falcons were already in 11 personnel where they could potentially space the defense out on that 4th down, is it unfair to say calling a timeout before that 4th down would have helped the defense in that moment? And I'd love to get your take on why or why not it would be unfair to say that.
No, it wouldn't have helped. We had the right call on for the right play. We just didn't play it right. The guy made a play. We knew what the guy was going to do. We had him doubled. We knew the tempo was coming the whole night. We knew it before the game. We had the right call on. We just didn't make the play.
And then what makes Drake London such a tough matchup these days?
He's tough. He's got a big catch radius, body-wise, and we understand he's tall and everything. We knew they went to him a lot. A few times we got out of his own position. A few times we were hanging on. He made some good catches. He's a good player.
Thanks.
Greg Allman.
Hey, Todd, you guys are 4th in the NFL in first half scoring right now, but 22nd in the league in second half scoring. So just want to ask you why you think there's been that drop off, why you guys haven't kind of been able to keep the foot on the gas offensively, and how much of that was a problem last night.
It's just finishing plays, 3rd down in the second half. We got to finish 3rd downs. We shoot ourselves in the foot penalty wise, and we go backwards a little bit, and we can't get out of that. But we got to just keep the penalty free in the second half, and we got to make plays.
You get the ball at the plus 28 there after Levante's pick with 144 left. Obviously, the priority is running clock, if you will. Just take us through those 3 plays. Obviously, the hold was a big setback, but just what went wrong on those 3 plays?
Well, they came through on the first play, and the holding call kind of set us back, kind of put us out of field goal range, and we kept going backwards. We at least got to be stalemated and get a field goal, so they need a touchdown to win instead of a field goal.
Okay, thanks, Todd.
Rick Stroud.
Coach, there was a blatant face mask penalty that was not called against Bucky Irving, and they grabbed his face mask. You're on the competition committee, meaning, man, shouldn't this play be reviewable in your opinion?
Hopefully we can get to that. We're trying to get to that right there. I think it should be reviewed from the top, or at least reviewed by the coaches, if anything else, so they don't miss much calls.
Thanks.
Scott Reynolds.
Coach, now that you've had a chance to watch the tape, Logan Hall had 5 quarterback hits, 2 sacks last night, arguably his best game as a pass rusher in his career. And he's coming off of a game where he had his first sack of the year, and he's now your leading sacker. What have you noticed about Logan Hall's play, his effort, his production over these last 2 games? And is this something that you feel is sustainable for him?
Yeah, it is sustainable. He's coming on. We always knew he was a good athlete, but it took time to get his pass rush things down. He does a lot of talking to Vita. He did a lot of talking to Cansey on the sideline of how to try to attack these guys and what he wants to do. He's doing less swim technique and more hands to power, and then he's using his moves at the end and his athleticism. So I think it's sustainable. I think he's coming on every week, and he sees it now. So that's giving him more confidence, and we just look forward to him getting better.
Thanks, Coach.
We have time for a few more. We'll go to JC Allen.
Coach, to lose the game on a walk-off touchdown in overtime is obviously crushing, but what are some of the positives you can take out of this game from the team, whether that's on offense, defense, special teams? Sean Tucker had a couple big returns as well.
I mean, we got fight. We know we got fight, and we think we're a very good football team. We're capable of being a good football team. We eliminate mistakes. We had plenty of chances at the end, whether either side of the ball to win the ball game, to put it away on the 28, to get a 4th down stop, let them get the ball off at the end of the game and get to 1 second. We had plenty of chances to win that. We understand that. We'll go back to work. We'll get better at that as a team, and we'll move forward. So that's positive.
We'll go to Greg Allman and then Rick Stroud.
Hey, Todd, obviously the priority is rest and recovery this weekend. Do you know yet whether you'll bring them back Monday or give them Monday off and go Tuesday? What the schedule will be next week with the long weekend?
They're coming in Monday. Wait for the injury report to see exactly what we can do.
Okay. Thank you, Todd.
Last question from Rick Stroud.
And Coach, I know he gave up a touchdown, but can you talk about what you've seen from Taike Smith? He had like a dozen tackles. He seemed to cover as well as anybody out there.
He had a bunch of tackles. For the first time, he had 2 or 3 mistakes since he's been there. You forget he's a rookie. He had 2 or 3 things he can do better, but he's a tough player for us. He's a smart player. We rely on him to do a lot. He does a lot. He's more like an outside backer when they run the ball because he can take on guards and tackles as well as tight ends. So he's very productive for us, and we just got to clean up a few things.
Could he be used? I mean, I know you already use him, but like we're talking about, nickel situation or, situations with the linebacker where you were using Savassier. Is Taike a guy that can kind of, if you brought in another nickel, could play that a little bit? Or
he's one of the guys we talked about. Again, I'm trying not to overload his plate, being a rookie and all, so we got to move some guys around. But he's definitely one of the guys that's a candidate to do that type of stuff.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah.
All right. That's all we have. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.